Time now for a Western Eyre Netball Association report, and as always, Reanna Freeman, our correspondent from the Western Eyre Netball Association, is here to talk to me and give us all the latest scores and news. Thanks for joining us, Reanna. How are you?
Very well, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Always a pleasure to have you on board. And we'll get straight into round 9, and it was Indigenous Round over last weekend.
It was. Prior to the weekend, we'd sort of seen on the Western Eyre Facebook page the Guernseys and the tags that all the clubs had designed and printed, and they all looked fantastic, but it was really good to see them in the flesh. They came out beautifully. Hawks had the honour of playing Kaniba for the round, and Kaniba also had Indigenous dresses, so their full dress, and they looked absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure whether they're going to be their permanent dresses or whether they'll keep them for that special round or not. But either way, they looked fabulous on the day, especially against the Hawks navy dresses with our Indigenous tags. It was a beautiful day and a great feeling. And although Kaniba don't have an A grade, at the beginning of the B grade, they presented the Hawks B grade with a beautiful carved boomerang. It was all framed up with a beautiful plaque on the bottom of it. The girls were very honoured and very happy to have received that from the Kaniba girls. And also all the girls received a little tub of bush medicine. So, Hawks are really thankful for Kaniba's welcoming them and the gift and the day that it was. And it was actually a really good B grade game. Hawks came out on top only by 6, 41 to Kaniba's 35. So, thank you to Kaniba for hosting the Hawks, and it was a great start to the weekend.
Sounds like a great start to the weekend, and it sounds like Kaniba did a sensational job hosting that one. And it really does sound like it was a great day for all involved. So well done to your Hawks girls getting the win in the B grade there. And in the A grade, of course, it was the Hawks on the bye, but we still had 2 games played over the weekend. So let's start with the not-so-close game, which was Wirrulla beating the Ceduna Blues 64-48.
Yeah, it's a really high-scoring game, which is good at this time of the year. I'm not sure what the score was after the first quarter break, but I know at half-time it was quite close. It was only Wirrulla up by 5 and a score of 31-26. So both teams off to a really good start. And then in the third quarter, Wirrulla only won that quarter by 4. So the score at that point was 45-36. So Wirrulla up by a total of 9. And then in the last quarter, I believe Wirrulla made a couple of little changes, and that sort of made the difference to end up getting a win by 16. Wirrulla 64 to Blues 48. For Blues, their best on court was Taylor Collins, who in previous years has been a beautiful shooter and keeper, but this year is in the mid-court, and I believe she played centre all game and sort of connected their defence and their attack really well and drove onto the ring and played her part in the game. So well done to Taylor. And then for the Wirrulla girls, Bella Heron was their incentive receiver for the game. She stood Casey, who's a very tall goal shooter and always a little bit hard to play, beautiful shooter. So well done to Bella. She, I hear from all accounts, sort of did a really good job of shutting Casey down so she couldn't sort of run away with it. And Sophie Kellett played beautifully in goals, as she always does. That was a really good win for Wirrulla by 16.
Good win for Wirrulla there indeed, and it was really close last time they played. Back in round 4 in May, it was Wirrulla by just 2 goals, 52-50. So Ceduna, they're very good for a team without a win on the board. We've spoke about it a few times this year. They've been getting really close, and this one wasn't their closest loss of the year, but it does show that they're certainly around the mark of these top couple of teams in a lot of their games.
Absolutely. And I mean, Wirrulla this is the pattern for them most times in the year. They sort of start off pretty quiet, build things up, and then at this time of the year, that's when they really start to lock things in, work out their best combinations, positions, and sort of build from here on in. So I think this is the beginning of Wirrulla sort of hitting their straps. And Blues, as you said, without a win, but they've been super close, and I think the competition between 5 has been really tight.
Yeah, it has been really tight, and it's interesting to hear that insight about Wirrulla sort of hitting their straps later in the season. You mentioned they were trying a few players in new positions, so we'll certainly keep an eye on them as the season draws to a close over the next few weeks. We've only got 6 rounds left before the finals, so we'll definitely be keeping an eye on them. They're in second on the ladder at the moment at 6-1, only trailing Thevenard on percentage. So we'll have a look at Thevenard's game. They had a very tight win to hold on to that top spot, 34-32 over the Western United Tigers.
Yeah, so because all games were played in Taduna on the weekend and we didn't have an A grade, I thought I might go and check this game out. And it was a really good game. I sort of missed the first quarter where Westies were up by 3, so it was 13-10. So a tight game. You know, they're only really scoring 10 goals a quarter. So I went along and watched this game and I thought it was a really well contested game. It was quite a physical game. But within the play, of course, it was just, you know, well matched. Everyone was out for the win and hard at the ball, which was a good game to watch from the sideline. And then at half time, Sevi were up by 2 goals. At that point, it was really well matched all the way down the court. I think some matchups all the way down the court were fantastic. Courtney Trowbridge was sort of at goal attack and Harry Appleby was at goal defence for Westies, and I thought they sort of tussled really well. And then, of course, Lindsay Dent and Durrani Hoffrichter. So Lindsay's the Sevi defender and Durrani's the Westies goalie. Both very tall, strong, physical women, and that was a really good fight out as well. So at half-time, Sevi were up by 2. At three-quarter time, Westies were up by 3. And then in the last quarter, Sevi come down by 2. So it was a very seesaw game, up and down, very well contested. I think in the last quarter, Westies only got 3 goals, so it was very defensive. Even though they got ball to the ring, the defence over the ball and blocking them out for rebounds was outstanding, and sort of probably where Sevi really picked up a lot of their ball. And then Sevi had a total of 8 goals in that last quarter, so that was sort of what got them over the line. But nevertheless, it was a really good game. Best on court for Sevi was Courtney Trowbridge, who played goal attack for the first 3 quarters and then really settled things in the last quarter. She went back to goal shooter and I think just sort of took a few deep breaths and had Cassie out at goal attack, just sort of fed beautifully, and that sort of switch up was, I think, a really smart move. And for Westies, Harriet Appleby at goal defence played a really good game. Chloe Ettridge, who's normally a goal defence, went out to wing defence, and she created a bit of chaos out there and made it really hard for Sevi. So a really good game by both teams, and only 2 in it, which just shows what sort of competition we are facing, not far off heading into the last lot of games for the season.
All right, and last time those 2 teams played, it was also very close. It was Thevenard by 6 goals, 39-33. So once again, it just goes to show how close this competition is. And Western United Tigers are sitting just 2 wins and a draw for the season, but they're really challenging those top 2 sides when they play them.
Absolutely. So, only having the 5 teams makes it a little bit different with your ladder. You're not getting as many games in as you'd like, but when everyone's facing those top teams, it is super close. Always hard to call who's going to win and who's going to come out on top. And I think being that finals takes your top 4 through to the final series means that it really is anyone's game. And I guess everyone's got this sort of last lot of games to settle down and work out exactly where they want to be and eye in the other teams and get some strategies come finals time.
And it will be Wirrulla taking on Thevenard and the Hawks taking on the Blues, while the Tigers have a rest in round 10. But before we get to round 10, we've got a week off this coming weekend. So is there anything happening this weekend?
Yeah, so Western Eyre Netball Association is hosting Pedler and Kinloch Cup. So that's an under-15s netball competition, is the Pedler Cup. And that is hosted by Taduna Blues in Taduna. So these are the association under-15 teams that went to Lock and Country Champs. We did actually reselect, so the teams are looking slightly different. And they've had some really good training. So these girls, although the teams are slightly different, there's a couple of ins and a couple of outs. They're sort of creating a bit of consistency, play together more, train together. Rose MacArthur, who we're very lucky to have in our association, ran another Sunday session with these girls, and I know they got a lot out of it. There was a lot of very happy girls walking away from that training. They learnt a lot, and I think not only will it help them on the weekend at Pedler Cup, but back in their own clubs at Club Netball. So a shout out to Rose and the work she's done with these girls, both Team 1 and Team 2 on Sunday in Streaky Bay. And I wish these girls the best of luck, and thank you to Blues for hosting. I know it's a huge event, especially when most people take it as a weekend off. They're still going to be there running the weekend, and then we've got a lot of volunteers with umpires, scorers, coaches, parents, kids, all the rest. So best of luck to all the Western Eyre teams, and thank you to all those who have volunteered.
All right, a few well-deserved thank yous and shout-outs there. So good luck to all the girls involved this weekend, and congratulations, of course, on being selected. So looking forward to hearing about how that goes next week and getting in a good preview of the Round 10 games. Enjoy anywhere you're going to be this weekend, Reanna. Are you taking the weekend off yourself?
I am. We're doing an annual camping trip every year at this time, and this is our 10th year, so we'll be camping in some very cold weather, but can't wait to sit around the fire and switch off. But I am very disappointed that I won't be watching the Super Netball Grand Final Saturday night, so I think I'll be switching my phone off, not looking at any messages or any giveaways, and watching it when I get home.
Sounds like a good idea. Hopefully it's a big win for the Thunderbirds, and we'll certainly be eagerly watching that one as well. Enjoy your weekend, Reanna, and we look forward to catching up again next week.
No worries. Thank you for having me.